just so you know, we're going live real quick. We've got the starting shortly up. We'll just keep talking for a few minutes while the message goes out to everybody. I just realized it was a few seconds after. So
yeah, no problem. I'll stop showing things then.
Oh, you can. It's the thing. They can't see you. Me and John can. Michael can't even see it.
I can't see anything.
Yeah. So.
But anyway, so I have found ways of patching or fixing it with using UV resin instead, but it makes it a very lengthy process, and it's not seamless. So it's not quite as it's not up to my quality standards just yet.
Yeah, you got to make sure it's up to the quality standards there. Yeah. Let's see.
But we have some new molds going to be made, so we'll figure it out.
That is awesome. I'm just getting in. John, can you make sure you're in the I think can you make sure you're on the Toy Rewind Twitch channel? In the back end?
Yeah.
So we can do the raid later. As we're sitting here talking, I forgot that I was part of the Geek Together, and I could get in and be the person that gets in on that. As we were on Saturday night, I thought I could get in and mess with Damien a little bit. But I didn't. I was good. If we have anybody that joined us as the messages went out. Anybody?
I have my nice boring green screen.
That's all right. Green screens are good. Did you paint the wall behind you?
No. Oh, that's what they're working at.
Let's see. I'm kind of just. My wife is in there watching Lost Boys right now. So if you hear any crazy screams, that's probably just the Lost Boys.
Probably.
I can't guarantee it. There's one person on. I don't know. Let me turn on to.
Well, it depends because I was jumping.
I don't know that. I was turning it on too. So who knows? We give it just another minute or so. Just keep chatting. And we'll start whenever we're ready to start. Because that's how we do things. Right? We got some viewers. There's some people here. Oh, wait. No, sorry. Mute. Turn it down. I don't need a reverb. All right. Hey, everybody. It is the Toy Rewind. I know you may be watching on Geek Together, but it's Toy Rewind. We took over. This time we were nice enough to bring somebody from Geek Together along with us. We're doing our toy collector showcase, and we have Christina here today from Geek Together, but most importantly, from Deathly Cute. We're going to talk about all kinds of stuff, customs and this little lady and all kinds of things. So we're here. We're just going to ask questions and kind of get to going. If you've got questions, hold on. I have to turn on there we go. If you got questions you want to ask Christina, drop them in the chat as we're here. If you're watching, let us know who's here. We're just going to kind of have some fun. So it's been a little while since we've done this. I want to say it's been like 6 weeks. Has it been about 6 weeks? Yeah.
Like that.
That's our bad.
Really?
Scheduling, it happens. But first thing, Christina, the first thing that you have to answer, since you are in Austin, I know you moved here a little while ago.
Yes.
And I know that you've been to a Whataburger.
We have been to a Whataburger.
So one of the things that we like to ask our guests is, was there intro music that I didn't play? I'm so lost at this point. I'm so lost at this point as to what I'm supposed to be doing. I forgot to. Oh well, it doesn't matter. We'll play it at the end. One of the things we like to ask our guests is, what is your go-to Whataburger order?
Well, I'm pretty boring. I don't know. I usually just get like a regular burger without cheese because I don't like cheese. And
what?
Fries. I don't like. I'm very particular about cheese. I like cheese in some things, but not on things like sandwiches or burgers usually.
Okay, it's not all cheese.
And I don't like cheese sauces or like American cheese. I can't handle because I just can't.
I mean, hey, that's all. You like cheese, just not some cheeses. That's all right. That's all right.
Yeah, like I like pizza. I like lasagna. I like cheese in stuff. It's
So
just I'm particular about cheese.
you're not
It's
like
not a
no
burger.
cheese allowed.
No.
Okay.
I just don't like cheeseburgers.
There we go. So, all right. So the fact
rest
that
of
we
the
did,
condiments are fine.
the rest of the condiments are fine. So, all right. Well, there you go. I'm pretty simple sometimes too. I like just their Whataburgers, just amazing. So,
Yeah.
sometimes I add bacon, sometimes I don't. John doesn't eat them unless they have jalapenos on them. So, he's got issues himself.
Mine's got to have jalapenos too.
Oh, Michael's got to have
I like
jalapenos.
the spicy
a
stuff, huh?
little spicy. Yeah.
See, I don't.
Kick to it.
Yeah, I don't need the jalapenos all the time. So, all right, let's jump in. We've got an hour here, so we just kind of want to jump in and talk about your collecting, how you got started collecting, and then how you started doing customs, and then just basically build up to your dahlias that you're doing with Death the Cute, and how you got started into that. So,
Sure. Well, Damien started collecting. So he started collecting, and then we ended up with like Funko stuff in the house. And then I didn't start collecting. I wasn't interested in Funko, like purchasing stuff for myself at all, until they announced that they were doing the Doctor Who line. And that's when I started collecting Funko. Before that, I had Doctor Who stuff, like little Lego minifigures and various other things, but nothing that was like a vast collection. Like Funko makes everything, obviously, right?
Right.
That's what opened that door. And once I heard that so my first Funko Pops weren't actually Doctor Who. I just at that point decided that I was going to buy them. So then I went out and bought some other ones.
So Doctor Who is the gateway for you, basically.
It's the one that opened the door to you.
Yeah.
Yep.
So
yeah. But the first pops I bought were at a local con in Indianapolis when there's a Gen Con, which is actually mostly a board game or like tabletop gaming con. But anyway, I purchased Tinkerbell and Zero from the Nightmare Before Christmas. Those were my first two.
Okay. So even though so Doctor Who is the gate that opens things for you to look at things, but your first purchases are Disney.
Yeah.
But it's Tinkerbell and Nightmare Before Christmas. So I mean that NBC stuff that goes pretty deep too.
It does. I think I have a fairly complete Funko NBC collection.
Wow.
I don't have like all of the plushies and stuff like that.
But but just like pops and
fairly certain I have all of the pops.
Okay.
I have a few of the protos too.
Okay, so we'll talk about protos. That's a whole different conversation.
Oh, I know, right?
Yeah. Because I happen to know somebody who's proto complete in Flash, or he says he is, and I don't even want to talk about him tonight.
I think I might have
that's a cool piece.
That's nice.
Yeah.
See,
kind of sitting here on my desk.
See, it's funny. I know people like to have their protos out, and I have one proto, and he's in I bought an extra one so that I can put him in a box and put him in a case.
Yep. I've seen a lot of people do that.
You can't even see that he's a proto because he's like in like two things of plastic through him. So, okay, so you bought those. Yeah, I just feel like I need to take care of him because he's never going anywhere. And
I don't know. I guess I sort of look at the protos and they're like, there's not really a whole lot that can get damaged on them.
That's true. There's no paint.
So if he's sitting here and gets knocked over, he's not gonna get scuffed really. And if he does, I'm not too worried about cleaning him because there's no paint to strip off.
That's a good point. So
I've got a couple prototype protos, Hot Wheels, and some Auto World stuff that it's not anything basic. It's just all basic. So it's not painted. Yeah, it's like the same way.
Awesome though.
Yeah,
I don't think I've ever seen any of that type of prototype.
Yeah, we'll have to get into that later on down the road.
Yeah,
Don't go to find them.
I would think just Hot Wheels prototypes are cars that I scratched all the paint off of. I wouldn't think that they were anything different. So, okay, so you've made your first purchase at this point, and what was your first custom, and what made you decide that you were going to custom something?
This is where it kind of gets funny. My first custom was a compound Hulk for Damien, because at the time we were newish collectors, and $50 for an aftermarket pop was ludicrous.
Yeah.
So I took an old, like the whatchamacallit, it was the Avengers Hulk, rather than, I didn't want to make what they had already made.
Right.
I didn't want to copy the compound Hulk that Funko had made. So I used the newer mold at the time, which was, I think, the Age of Ultron Hulk or something, and did it on that one. And he was like glitter red on one side and metallic green on the other side.
Oh, I think I saw this one as I was going through some of your Instagram stuff. I think I saw that one, and I didn't pull it
Yeah.
up. I don't know why I didn't pull it up, but
That
it's
was
not one that I pulled
That
up.
was the first one I ever painted.
So, and you did it for Damien. Such a nice thing to do.
Yeah.
It's usually how it's working. Yeah.
Yeah.
The first one I made for myself, which actually turned into the first one that I sold, was a Dalek. It was the from Doctor Who. I did a
Okay.
and I'm such a bad fan right now. I can't remember what they call it. It was, anyway.
Was it the
matter.
black one?
No, it was an army green one. I sculpted little
okay.
backpacks on it. There was an
nice.
episode in which the Daleks were fighting for William, or for Churchill.
Yeah, okay. So this is
Yeah, it doesn't make sense at all. But anyway.
Was that okay? Well, you can redeem yourself. That was 10th Doctor, right? Was that David Tennant? I believe that was David Tennant, 10th Doctor.
Yeah.
Okay. Though you'll redeem yourself a little bit. There's so many episodes. Who knows? Sorry, Ed probably knows. We'll just throw that out there.
I used to know. I used to like labor over every detail.
I have a Doctor Who thing here I want to show you before we end this, by the way. I told Damien about it, and he was like, you got to show that to Christina. So, all right. So you're making your first ones, and you said that was the first, that Dalek was the first one that you sold. Was that did you post it, just like proud of it, and then somebody offered to buy it, or what got you into doing that?
No, I posted. I had made it for myself, and then one of the people that ran one of the larger Facebook groups, his name's Matt Norris. He apparently is a Doctor Who fan and offered. He wanted it, so I was like, "Oh, okay."
There you go, man.
I'm like, "Yeah, I can make myself another one."
You make another one,
which I never did.
Just make another one.
You know, 6-7 years later, I still haven't done it, but I should.
That's what. So we have somewhere on the shelf that's over here somewhere. It's a Mr. Snuffleupagus, and I've been trying to get a second one. I haven't tried very hard. They're not that hard to find, but I want to get a second one and then let my wife, who's an artist, also customize it. We've never done any customs, but it's like the first one we want to custom and put long hair on it. Not just flocked, but like actually long hair, because that's what Snuffleupagus has. Like
fur.
Yeah. Right. So, and we haven't done it yet because I haven't found another one. Like I said, I haven't looked very hard. But that would probably be the first one that came out of this house. That's a cool idea. And I doubt very many would come out of our house.
It's time consuming. Yeah. I won't lie.
It is. I've known guys that do a lot of customs and stuff, and yeah, it just takes up a lot of time, and that's something I don't have time to do it. But yeah, there's a lot. There's a lot to it. Yeah.
Yeah, but Michael, you know people that do custom Hot Wheels, which is like, I feel like anybody that works at a body shop could do a custom Hot Wheel.
They come up with decals and I mean all the different decorations and stuff, and it takes a lot to it to make a custom. Yeah.
So Christina, I did bring up, and we chatted about this. I brought up some of your customs that you've done here. I'm going to see if I can make this a little bit larger so that people can see it a little bit more.
I see one I want.
Yeah,
We-
there's one John.
There's one John likes just immediately, and
This
there
I
you
think
go. That
I
helps.
did for what was it? That was for one of the photo contests. But yeah, so
Yeah, yeah. And I brought this one up first because it just has there's a variety here
Yeah,
of different ones. So, which out of these was the funnest one to do?
I think probably the Artemis rock candy.
Okay.
She was. I really liked the way that one turned out. It was, and I had a friend 3D print the bow.
I was about
because
to say,
weapons aren't really my specialty. But yes, I had a friend 3D print the bow, and then I had to like find out a way to make her hold it, and then the string is actually like a thread threaded through her hand.
oh, nice.
So.
That's cool.
So, how much of that one is like? Because what is that originally?
The head is a Wonder Woman head.
Okay.
I want to
Yeah,
say
that makes sense.
I think it's it's like obviously it's from the Wonder Woman movie where she's not wearing like the helmet and stuff.
Right.
What was the body? I don't remember.
Just the fact that you can take you I mean, do you look at these? You like look at different pops and you're like, oh, these are the ones that would make this figure. Which I know you're doing a lot of Dahlia now, but
yeah, yes, I would go shopping on Amazon or whatever or the pop thing. I used to keep up with like the new stuff a lot more.
Mhm.
So I would know what kind of poses and stuff were available. But yeah, so if I was trying to figure out a specific character, I would go and look to find something that had a base that was similar and wouldn't compete too much with what I wanted to create. Because the less you have to cut away, the easier it is to build up.
Yes, that's what I was about to ask you if you had an idea of if there's a character you want to make and then you go out and find the parts to it, or if you just see something out there and say, oh, I can make this out of that. So I was going to ask if it's a little bit of both or what.
I think it's probably been a little bit of both. It's funner when you get inspired by the pieces you see.
Mm-hmm.
Like when I go, oh, I could make this, that would be awesome. Yeah. Rather than a lot of the time it's in the other way around, because most of the time I work on request when it comes to Funko stuff. At least for the last, part of it. In the beginning, mostly I would make what I wanted.
Yeah. or what Damien would want.
Right, exactly. Those are always the funner ones for me, rather than making somebody else's vision.
Which I assume that this one that's right here in the front was for Damien, right?
Oh yeah, the Freddy, yeah.
The Freddy Skeletor.
Pretty much anytime I make a Skeletor, it's because Damien has asked me to.
Of course.
And I've made a lot of Skeletor.
He's like, hey, there's not a Skeletor one of these. And you're like, okay, I know what you mean. I know what you're talking about.
They're fun, though. I mean, they're not, it's a cool character. So I don't really
He's a fun character, especially with his colors to me.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, who gets a bad guy that has a yellow face and uses purple? I don't know.
Yeah.
So, and I know John's itching to ask some questions about this link.
Sure. No, I mean, ask questions. I mean, it's one I would definitely go buy.
John's ready to open his wallet and send you money.
I love
do you still have that one?
I think I do have that one.
All right, John. So here's your chance to start bidding on it.
I don't know where it is or what condition it's in anymore, but I'm pretty sure I do still have it.
Okay, so
did you find that? I don't know if you saw the picture of the retro Freddy link that I did.
I don't think I did. I don't think I pulled that one. I just pulled a few, and now that I actually look at this photo, I realize that the big Freddy in the background is for Damien also, because it's a flash. I didn't see the flash symbol for a second, and I just saw it. I was like, oh yeah, that's Damien's also.
The one I like out of this, I like the Martian Manhunter one back there.
Yeah,
that's the one that I'm drawn to.
That was from the Young Justice or whatever. That show, and I did a series of 5 rock candy for fun days. Actually,
okay.
The first fun days I participated in was with those.
Nice. So, all right. So let's move on. Oh, here we go. And obviously, I pulled this one.
See, I told you, lots of Skeletor.
This is the one that caused me to chat with you the first time, talking about doing a custom Tiny Ghost Batman. I don't remember if you remember that, because I saw this one and the Flash that we'll talk about in a minute, because Damien was trying to show him off, and I was like, that's how I get a Batman Tiny Ghost. So obviously at this point we've moved away from doing Funko. We're doing Tiny Ghost. These to me seem like they're probably a little easier.
Yes and no. The thing about Tiny Ghost for me is that it has a very unique shape, which is a great blank canvas, but I don't like to mess with it too much, because if you put a whole bunch of sculpting on it, then it's not a Tiny Ghost anymore.
Right.
So I usually try to find the balance between Tiny Ghost and the character that you're trying to put on it. So.
Right. And I think you did a great job on this one. You just add a little bit of a hood.
Yeah.
The eyebrows, and I mean, besides this
and then
scepter, the chest piece, and you
everything else is just painted detail.
Right. I can tell that this is Tiny Ghost. I can look at it and be like, hey, that's a Tiny Ghost. It's got this shape.
Yeah.
Obviously the clean shape of a Tiny Ghost, and then a few little details, and bam, you have a Skeletor Tiny Ghost. Now has Reese contacted you about making more of these and selling them?
No. No, he is not.
Too bad, because I'm sure more people than Damien would like to have that one. Here's another one. I didn't know about this one, and I happened to see it, and I was like, yep, we're talking about that one.
That one turned out a lot better than I was hoping for.
This one, I mean, obviously with this one, you've added just whatever's in his hand. The microphone. And the bandana.
Of a microphone.
And let's see.
I put all my effort into that bandana.
Oh, yeah. Oh, well, okay. Seeing it from the side here, I can tell it's a microphone a little bit more. You see the little bottom part, so you can tell it's a microphone. This is awesome. I love this. By the way, Clint, who is always around, says your paint is amazing.
Thank you, Clint.
And Clint's got to suck up. He probably wants you to send him something now, because
he has things.
He has things. So I love this. Just everything about this. Every time I've thought about doing anything like painting anything like this, I always worry about brush strokes. I don't know how you get away with that. But these are I can't tell anything. These look like they're just flat out done this way to me.
Well, thank you.
And maybe that's the photo. Maybe they look a little different in person. I don't know, but these look amazing.
I try my best to minimize brush strokes as best I can. There are times when it kind of just happens. For the most part, if you water down the paint and are patient and do about 1,000 layers, then you'll probably have a pretty smooth finish. It's when you try to either put the next layer on too quickly, or if you put it on too thick, then when you get brush strokes.
So when you make these, do you only make one at a time if you're doing these customs like this, or do you make two so that you can put one?
So I can keep mine myself.
Yeah.
Usually, usually I just make whatever, the one that I'm making for whoever I'm making it for. Unless I'm doing a run of something.
Okay. That makes sense.
If I have a plan to make 10 of the same Funko Pop, or 10 Dahlia, or 10 whatever, it just is far more it makes more sense to do it like an assembly line. Like an assembly line.
Like the photos that we've seen from when you're doing Dahlias and you've got all their heads separated and you're going to paint all those and everything. So that makes sense.
Yes, because then you keep your paint colors consistent, because if you have to remake a color, then they're all going to get the same batch of that, that color.
That makes sense.
You're doing the details all at the same time. You're at that stage on all of them. Sorry, I've got a child trying to sneak in.
Oh no. I told Damien that you were going to be on and he needed to do a better job of babysitting. Does he not? He's probably pretending to be on a call.
Probably.
So, all right.
You know, say hi. Say hi.
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 Go on back out to the living room. Yeah, go on. Go on.
So for this one, obviously I'd bring up the Flash.
I'm going this way.
Yeah,
She's
this is
go- oh.
still this is a bit of a sore point with Damien actually.
Oh no.
You got two different flashes. Yeah.
The one on the red, like the bright red one,
The bright
I,
red
I
one.
made for Damien. That is Damien's. It's actually right over on my shelf here.
Okay.
The other one, the TV flash, was a request by somebody else, and I should have made a second one at the time that I was making that one, but I didn't. So he still does not have one.
So he doesn't. I just assumed both of these were for Damien.
No, we took a picture before they went. The other one went out. The other one I believe is in Singapore.
Wow.
I think.
The colors on these are amazing.
Thank you.
The red and yellow for the comic book one that Damien has. Sorry, Damien, didn't mean to bring this up and spoil your evening, but the colors on that are perfect. Like you look at it, you can tell that is the comic book one, and his ear things. I don't even know what they're called, but his ear lightning things.
Yeah.
Look great.
Thank you.
And then the colors for the TV one. Like, there's no question as to where that one came from because they went with that darker maroon color when they made the suit. Like, you look at it,
Yeah,
like,
it's more of like a red leather rather
Yeah.
than.
Yes.
and his eye holes are bigger on his suit. Everything about that. Like, you did a great job. And did you add molding for the hoods a little bit to make the mouth kind of inset a little
Yes.
bit? Okay.
Those ones, yes. So it's just basically an edge piece then blended out into the vinyl. So
Okay.
it's not like over the whole
Mhm.
Oh,
head.
okay.
So it's less, again, it's one of those less is more type scenarios where I try to add as little as possible to get the effect because I didn't need to bulk out the whole head of his, like he doesn't need to wear a whole helmet.
Right.
Right.
I just needed the edges.
Well, you did a great job. I wouldn't have been able to tell. I mean, obviously not holding it, but just looking at the photo, I thought it was just a whole headpiece that you kind of put on there and made it look that way. So the colors are great, the designs, everything. Like, I just actually started watching the CW Flash again, and this takes me right back to that. Like, the colors are perfect on this. So sorry, Damien, I'm gonna have to remind you that you still don't have one of these.
Oh no.
Because I know he's got to be watching because he's obviously not babysitting very well.
So those the earpieces now those 3D printed as well.
No, those are sculpted.
They're
Most
sculpted.
Of,
Okay.
Most of the stuff that I do is hand sculpted.
Okay.
For the most part. Like I said, the bow on that one was just because I was at a loss of even where to start because you can't just sculpt little teeny bits.
Yeah, that would be hard.
Yeah.
That would be hard to sculpt on that one. Yeah.
It would have to be some creative use of wire and stuff that I just.
Yeah. So
I had a friend that was willing to help, and I definitely took the help.
The sword that Link's holding, the Master Sword here, is that sculpted?
That is sculpted. Well,
Okay.
it's sort of sculpted. I had some necklace, like pendant things that was all in a box set for Legend of Zelda. So it has all the different shields and then the Master Sword. And what I did was I took the sword and pushed it into this one type of clay and then made another one out of it. So I made myself a little push mold, basically.
Cool.
Okay, so that makes sense.
But it is like it's not an actual piece of something. It is clay.
Yeah, so it is clay. All right, so I think those are all the tiny ghosts that are brought. Yep, those are all the tiny ghosts that are brought up. So this one, obviously, a Freddy Funko with a Wonder Woman body.
Yes, this one was done for a charity event. So she was auctioned for breast cancer research.
Yes.
And yeah, you hear people talk about why is there no girl Freddy? Why is there no female representation? It's like it's not that hard to make him a little more feminine.
Yeah.
Yeah, just put Wonder Woman on his body and put some
Yeah,
eyelashes,
I added. She's
Add
got
some
little
eyelashes.
details.
eyelashes,
Yeah.
and a little longer hair, and you're good.
because he's already got the freckles. So those, you just
Well,
add the
that's
eyelashes.
that's all painted. Like,
Well,
I
yeah,
don't
yeah,
generally,
right.
I don't generally leave the base skin color on them. I usually repaint them,
Yeah.
like
Hmm.
top to bottom.
Oh, okay.
So
Well, that allows
yes.
you to get all the like a good color base that's going to match throughout the whole thing, right?
Well, the problem when you don't repaint the faces is that they rarely match the body.
Right.
Okay.
So
Oh,
even
yeah,
if you're
the
using
color, yeah.
two of the same
I got you.
skin tones or whatever, they're rarely going to match.
It's like when you're watching the old Scooby Doo's and they run into a room and you can obviously tell the wall that's going to move because it looks different than the rest of the wall.
Yeah,
Gotcha. It just doesn't match up. Okay.
generally speaking, no. So,
Okay.
or even if you do get a very close color, the paint texture is going to be different than the vinyl, like the bare vinyl. So it doesn't. To me, it looks better if you just go head to toe.
So this one was probably pretty easy because you didn't do any sculpting on the body on this one, right? You just repainted.
Not on the body.
Yeah, I was going to say you just repainted what was already there with Wonder Woman, her boots and everything from that mold.
Yeah.
But then adding the hair and then the star on the crown.
Also, the crown was modified to be a tiara. There's only the 3 prongs.
Oh, okay. So it doesn't go all the way around. Okay. That makes sense. This is pretty cool. I'm glad this was auctioned off. I'm sure it got a pretty penny for them. So, I mean, it's an amazing little piece. And everybody should have a female Freddy, or didn't they try to name her at some point on the Funko Funcast?
I don't know. We joked around with, I think, Frida and
yeah, there was. So if you're watching the chat, my son's being stupid on there. So apparently I smell. I don't know. We'll see. And Clint, I hope you're still around because this last one we're talking about is one of your favorite characters.
that one was fun.
This one, the taking Freddy and turning him into Ron Burgundy has got to be the best thing that I've ever seen.
That one I was asked to make for what is it? Fanatics Day Out.
Yeah, okay.
So one of the California locations asked me to make that for them, and they did a giveaway with it, I believe.
So this one, because this was, so you had to do the whole body on this too, right? The sculpt on the body, or is that like the suit, the jacket, the jacket?
That one, I don't remember offhand what body it actually is, but the suit was already there. I had to modify the arm and hand.
Oh, okay. That's. I was like, I don't know if I've seen one that. I mean, and I haven't seen everything, but I was like, couldn't remember if I'd seen one with him holding or anybody holding their hand out like that wearing a suit. But
I just would have modified it.
And then adding the mustache. Obviously, this is exactly what Ron Burgundy would look like with freckles. And this is another one of those perfect pieces to me. Where did you get? Is this a custom box or?
Yep, Damien used to do all of our boxes, so he would design them all and print them out, and then I got to cut them and glue them. And
so
he does the technical stuff. I do the physical.
I was about to say, it sounds like you have the harder job out of all of it, to be honest.
I wouldn't disagree with that, but.
All right, so I think that's all that I pulled up as far as like pulling up to talk about. Now, from going to do customs, do you still do customs? Or
occasionally.
Okay.
I don't do as much in the way of Funko. I'll do the odd tiny ghost here and there. But lately I've been doing more designer toys in like toy shows, if that makes sense.
Yes.
So I've been doing a lot of quicks, like the Tech 63s and the Megatechs. I think they're fun to work with. I actually have one here that is a blank. So that's
Oh yeah, so that's
yeah.
Yeah, I've sort of just evolved a little bit. I'm not opposed to doing Funko still sometimes here and there, but it's just not really my focus, especially with Dahlia
I was about to say
on the
you've
table.
you've moved on to this beautiful thing um, of doing the dahlias. So that's weird how that posted, by the way. So Steph posted that Damien's not here to defend himself, and that's fine. He doesn't have to defend himself all the time. So somebody's got to babysit. So how did you get from doing customs? Obviously, you're doing amazing custom work. I heard your name all the time on the Funko Funcast, just people talking about different stuff, seeing it come up. I didn't know exactly who you were at the time. That you were with Geek Together, Damien, anything like that. It just heard CC Custom Pop all the time,
Right.
seems like. And so it took me a little while to put things together, which is my fault. But, maybe I should pay a little more attention.
I'm also not that. I'm not like usually jumping in front of cameras and stuff. It's
That's
like,
all right. That's all right. That's
it's not
Damien's
usually my
job.
MO. That is his job. He's the multimedia guy.
Yeah. So what got you from what decision? Who decided that you needed to come up with your own toy or your own line?
I mean, it was sort of a joint endeavor. I mean, so I just started getting a little burnt out on all of the requests and having a backlog of things that people wanted me to do and having it on their timelines, and it just got a little overwhelming. And I just started wanting to do something that I wanted to do. So instead, I was like I just figured there wasn't really anything stopping me from trying to at least design something on my own. And it's not what we need to do to survive, so it's fine if it never goes anywhere. I'll just have fun making something that I want to make.
Yeah.
So I started doodling a couple of design ideas and bouncing them off of Damien because he's very good at giving constructive criticism.
I'm glad you said constructive.
No, he's very good about it. He's very supportive. But he'll definitely let me know what he thinks. Not always when I want to hear it, but he will always let me know what he thinks. And then I had I was lucky enough that Reese I'm good enough friends with Reese that he was willing to take a look at my sketches and sort of help me with some art directing. It was funny. I sent him the first images and he's like, "Do you mind if I go in art director mode?" It's like, by all means, that's why I sent you this.
Of course. I mean, he obviously has a great job there, Funko, and then he's doing Tiny Ghost. That's where you want to be. So yeah,
he knows what people like and what is marketable and what is charming to the masses. So
right.
So yeah, he took my original idea and tweaked it a little bit here and there with the proportions and whatnot. And then I went and redrew it all. And then I made the first dahlias was a hand sculpt. And then we made a mold from the hand sculpt.
Okay, that's what I was going to ask you, how you came up with that first one, as far as
I had those questions too. I've got what kind of inspired the look of Dahlia?
I like creepy, cute things. There's not really a whole lot of backstory. I wish I did have more of a backstory for her, honestly. But yeah, it's just I've always had a thing for skulls, and whatever, but I don't generally go too dark with it. So yeah, I like things that are a little bit creepy and dark, but also have a light or fun side or whatever. But yeah,
it's a happy skull. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. That was the first one. She was an original Sculpey figure, and then we made our first resin, like our first mold, and then the first line was it's resin, but they were all the master was a hand sculpt.
Yeah. So I pulled up. This is, I believe, they're from the first part of the Instagram. So I'm assuming this is the first line. So this is the part where I was lost because I was listening to Geek Together. I kind of knew you and Damien a little bit, mostly by name, but then I didn't realize what was going on with Dahlia.
Right.
I would hear Dahlia, but I wasn't watching anything, and so I was like, I want one of these. And then finally I figured out what I was missing.
Right.
And so I missed out on these first ones. How many of these first ones did you do?
I want to say there's 15
Okay. So,
ones. I think that.
so I'm going to say
15.
14 lucky people have one, and then Damien has one.
No, there's the one that you have pictured right now. It was an AP. That was the first one I ever painted. The ones after that have a slightly different color palette.
Oh, that
So
goes. Okay.
I wasn't sold on the bright pink on the belly.
Oh, that makes sense. Okay.
Yeah.
So
and so
it
you went with
with more of
the
a lavender.
Yeah.
So yeah. The first run, so the one we have is a one-off.
is this one, right?
Yeah, it was the first paint sample.
The AP, the one that Damien also points out that he likes to keep the APs around.
He does like to point things out like that.
He doesn't like to let people get their hands on those, especially when he teases them on Geek Together shows. Okay. So let's see. So I pulled up a couple of these as Dahlia has kind of progressed over,
Sorry.
I don't know, kids, it's all good. Like I said, Damien's not doing his job right. It's all right. It's all good. You should just remind him that you take care of them while he's doing Geek Together. Hey.
Well, she's not in here now, so that's
that's a plus. So how many different Dahlias have you done? Do you know?
Offhand, I don't. I haven't done a ton of when you're talking about like the painted runs. I've done so there was the first one. I only did one run, I think, with the original mold, and then we had I had 3D. We had a slowdown because I had 3D printed my own of this design, but our 3D printer was not super good, so I was like in the process of refining it with priming and sanding and all of that fun stuff, and I was almost to the point where it was going to be workable, and then our lovely friends over at Vancer ended up getting their resin printer, so I had them print it instead. So this is one of the masters that they printed.
Cool. Hold on, I'm going to bring that up if I can remember what button to push here. There we go. So we can see. So that's a master of the resin print.
Yes.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. So all of our molds are then made from these. So I've got all the pieces.
So you've got each individual. So our arms are separate.
Yep. The arms are, one's an individual arm, and then one's the arm with the tail.
Oh, okay. I was about to say, so the arm and the tail, because I'm just looking at mine as I'm sitting here talking about it.
Well, I tend to, especially with the painted ones, when I attach them, I don't just glue it. I usually do a little bit of sculpting over the back of the tail so that it makes a good bond, and so that it's smooth. Just because I don't like having that seam. Wherever possible.
Which makes a little more sense to me now that I'm looking at this, because I just saw Vancer posted something about the tail on Ramble being tweaked a little bit from sticking out to being enclosed. And so that's what, now that, see, I notice these things now and I'm like, oh, look, I can take appreciation towards a little more artwork there.
Yeah.
So this one, there we go. If I can add it back correctly. So this one, obviously a Monsters Incorporated theme that we did with Sully. Or that you did, sorry, we didn't do it, and did it with Extra Life. I know you did a few of these.
Yes,
5
of them.
Five.
Yeah. So I love this one. This one's awesome. I like the fact that you didn't change the ears; you just painted the horns on the ears.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't change Dahlia. It's paint over, like you mentioned earlier with the tiny ghosts.
Right.
So
I kind of stole that idea from the Vinylmation, to be quite honest.
Okay.
The Disney Vinylmation, most of them have like Mickey ears, right?
Yeah.
And when they make, they'll just paint those as a canvas to add to whatever character. A lot of customizers do that too.
Yeah,
so
that makes sense.
Yeah, I played around with the idea of adding horns and leaving the ears there as well. But the more I thought about it, I'm like, it just doesn't. It's not necessary. So
Right. It's not necessary. You don't need to have it there. So, okay. So this is the one from mine is somewhere in there. This one is somewhere on
it's
that
somewhere
board
on that table. Yep.
because I have number 11 of 15. So yeah, number 11 of 15. So it's somewhere on that table. And this was the Halloween.
There was Hallows Eve and Hallows End. One was sold through us, and one was sold through My World.
Yeah, I think this was Hallows Eve,
I think so.
if I believe
Hallows
right.
End is the darker one because
Right. And I think I have it here. This one that you're talking about, correct? No.
Nope. That one was a one-off.
Oh, this is Black Twilight. Yeah. Okay.
That one is a one-off. It's a clear.
So,
clear. I don't remember what Hallows End looked like. I think it was going back and forth between accounts here. 1 second.
So, Steph, which one did you say you have? You have the purple one, the All Hallows Eve. She was just mentioning that she had one.
She had a couple of them already.
Oh, she is.
He has the Sully one too.
Oh, she
Yeah,
got
so
Sully one too.
Hallows End was a gray. It was a gray outfit with purple metallic flowers and belly.
So I believe. Oh yes, there we go with the orange face. Yes.
Yeah.
So they both had a pumpkin face, but one was like, one was the purple and one was the gray.
So Steph apparently has all of them. She is your biggest collector, apparently.
Steph is one of my biggest collectors for sure.
Yeah. This one, I love this one. Just the fact that I don't even know what to say. The translucent of is this resin or is this?
It is resin. It's all clear resin. Okay, so what we did with that one was I used a UV resin to do the flowers, like the red and the green and the orange. Because you can cure it with like a UV light.
Right.
And then once that was cured in the mold, the silver areas are like a silver luster dust that we painted into the mold. And then the rest of it is like a clear black resin with glitter in it that Damien mixed up.
Wow. So this is amazing. Awesome. Just like all the rest of your work, it's amazing. And the fact that it's a one-off, and I have another one here that I'm going to show here in a second that's a one-off. You've taken your customs and moved them even into Dahlia. Like it's not like you're done doing customs because you're doing these one-offs of
right.
It just happens to be your piece.
Right.
Your thing that you're customizing.
I will say Damien does take over a lot of the ownership on the clear ones as far as the mixing and pouring of the resins because he gets all into that. I then have to sand them.
Right. So I wanted to bring this one up because it popped up, and I didn't realize the other one was a one-off. Because I want to talk about this one because this is obviously a one-off.
Yes.
And a kind of a different, obviously, look for Dahlia. So what did you do? What was this one? This was a custom, obviously.
This one was a custom for a show, for a Stormy Vault show. They do auctions and online sales, and they've been doing virtual shows for like the last year and a half, I want to say. And this one, so he wanted me to make something that was Dahlia rather than a tech or some other base figure. So I had a severely miscast head where I think the mold didn't close properly and most of the resin like had poured out. So like the whole half of her her face was gone. But I don't like throwing things away, and I don't know. I like repurposing, and I kind of like the whole building her up and trying to see what she would look like as a person.
Yeah, there you go. I like the word
job on that one. Yeah.
I like the fact that you said miscast and not deformed. I like that. She was just something wrong, just miscast. It's all good.
Yeah, we'll just patch it up.
Yeah. So
the funnest part for that one was the eyes. I used mold for doll eyes, so they are like eye shaped. And then when I painted it, I painted the inside of the iris and then put the clear resin over top of the eye, so she actually has depth in her
Oh
eyes.
wow! I was about to
Cool.
say it does look like that's the one on one side you can kind of tell from the photo.
Yeah.
But that's pretty cool. See, it's all these little tricks. I would have never thought to do that. But I'm not an artist either. Yeah.
I like to try new things. I'm never like I'm always willing to give a new thing a go.
Yeah, I went to art school and I drew 5 shoes once and was so excited about it. I wanted to get it framed. Obviously not an artist. So we have about 10 minutes left. And I just kind of want to talk. So what do you have? Do you have anything that you want to share? Do you have anything fun? What do you have in the works? Like what's next for Dahlia?
Well, I have.
And Deathly Cute, actually. All of you.
I don't know how much I'm allowed to tell. There's a thing. I think this weekend, yes. And I'm not quite done. So when I'm done here, I have to go back to painting.
Oh no.
And I did do a little tease about this earlier on my Instagram, so we'll just warm that up there.
Oh.
Yeah.
So
a
that's
little
fun. Yeah,
Hot Wheels
has,
did that too.
Yes, this is a thermal
You got
paint.
you got color racers and
Yeah. So that's
So
the
yeah.
thermal paint. There's going to be more details. Like that's obvious. This is very much work in progress. So, but the purple's done.
The purple's done.
Damien
And
did yell at me and told me I have to do something that's not purple next time because I clearly like purple.
I think Dahlia looks good in purple.
Right.
So do
Right.
I.
So you should be like, sorry, Dahlia only wears purple. It's her choice. I think that's fair. So those are something that's maybe dropping this weekend.
Yep.
Okay,
Maybe.
so Steph, you'll have to keep an eye out for that so that you can make sure you keep your collection complete and keep Christina working, obviously.
Said
And
she's looking for a red one.
I was about to say she's asking for a red one.
I saw that.
So here's the big question I want to know: does Damien have a Skeletor Dahlia?
No,
I mean, she's already purple. I mean,
it's true. I can just do a yellow face.
you should yellow face and be like,
purple yellow face. There you go.
so okay, this is what you do, and I'm sure he may be watching or he'll watch at some point, and so it won't work. But when he's like, "Hey, I want a Skeletor Dahlia," you'd be like, "Sorry, I don't do purple anymore." See, turn it around on him. Yeah, turn it around
there
on
you
him.
go.
So that would be
Good
fun.
idea.
Okay, so I mean, is Dahlia the only thing that you're kind of doing now, or is there anything else? Definitely, are you looking to branch into anything else, or
I do have some other ideas.
you don't have to show anything. You don't have to show anything or anything like that. I'm just curious
I
as
don't
to.
have anything to show.
Okay.
But no, I do have a design for a friend for Dahlia. At some point, we'll have that one made. His name is
I think
Hemlock. That's
Andrew's going down my questions here because that was one of my questions. But if there's a different figure in the future to go along with Dahlia, that's what I was going to ask. So yeah.
yes,
Keep your
I
eyes
do
out
have.
for
I do have Hemlock is his name, his work in progress name.
Okay.
And we have briefly discussed the idea of doing some minis.
Oh, nice.
Cool.
So,
And I know you guys work closely with Reese and Tiny Ghost stuff. As
Sometimes.
far as with I know you like admins or something with him with doing Tiny Ghost stuff. So you do have that kind of input from him. I know he's doing stuff, and that's awesome. I think that's great. Just the fact that you can bounce things off of somebody who's doing it and has made his way already to that point.
I will say that's been like the biggest highlight, other than making tons of awesome friends along the way.
Right.
Part of that has bled into the art world for me. I have met a ton of different artists, and not only do I like aspire to like some of the things that they are capable of, but a lot of them are actually just really great people that are super inviting, and they're genuine like friends now, which is kind of mind-blowing.
Yeah, I know. Like
You wouldn't think that picking up a couple of pops, 10 years ago would turn into something like that. So it's really neat.
Yeah, so I know being a web developer, like there's a lot of coding and stuff, and there's other people that I have kept in touch with over the years that just chatting with them and talking to them, we're great friends, and then we can just bounce ideas off of each other. And I know that's always a great thing to be able to do, and it helps you grow as you know, as a person, as an artist, and whatever you're doing, kind of gives you new ideas. So that's awesome that you're able to do that and able
Yeah, for sure.
to keep that going, because sometimes you get stuck, you know,
Yep.
or whatever, and you're like, hey, I don't know which way I want to go on this. So
Yeah.
so most of the people, an interesting thing about this having you on, especially since we're on the Geek Together channel, this is where you're at all the time, for the most part. I mean,
I've been hiding from the cameras lately, but yes.
you've been hiding, but I mean, everybody knows this is where they can find you. But because I was going to say, where can people find you? But
Yeah, right here.
it's kind of here.
Usually in the chat.
Deathly cute.
Yep.
You know,
Deathly Cute Toys on Instagram. That's
so here's a question I asked Damien earlier, and I'm going to ask you because just curious. Why doesn't Deathly Cute and Dahlia have a Twitter?
Because I'm super lazy and I'm barely ever on Twitter. Yeah. Because I'm old and I don't tweet. I don't know.
I don't necessarily like Twitter. It's not my go-to.
Not.
I'm all about
I have
Instagram.
one, but I don't do much with it.
I used to do a little bit more with it. I won't lie. The disbanding of the Funcast was kind of a nail in the coffin for me. That's where I would. It was usually Funcast related stuff that I would engage with on Twitter, and I know that all the people are still there and whatever, and I still talk to all of my friends and Sully and all of that. But it's Twitter's just not. It's not my.
It's not the same. It's not the same. I personally like Instagram more than anything. I don't know. It's fun. You see stuff all the time.
Yeah.
So okay, well. It's been great having you on.
I got a question real quick. Yeah, I got one more question. No, with this, is this something you'd like to see grow into bigger runs in the future, or keep it small like it currently has been, or something that you would like to see grow?
I'd like to see it grow at some point. The one thing that I've always said is that even if we go to vinyl and do like production pieces or whatever, that's fine. But for me, I would still want to do things hands-on. Mm-hmm. So as well as, like, let's say we are doing runs of 100 or runs of whatever in vinyl pieces, I would still want to have like an allotment of blanks that I would just make little small runs of and do that way. Just because that's otherwise I wouldn't be doing anything.
Yeah.
The way I do art is very hands-on. So if I'm just like, okay, here's a design, mock it up, send it off, and somebody else makes them all.
Yeah.
It loses all the fun for me.
Yeah, it's not as fun. Yeah. Okay.
So to answer that, a little of both. Like
Damien wants you to make it huge so that he can retire. That's what he wants.
I'm sure that's probably true.
So that he can
would
stop
like to have
doing
a way
all
that
work.
we could. Yeah, exactly. He would love to have a way that we could just go to cons and sell toys, and that would be it.
I mean, I guess that would be too much to ask for, right?
No.
You get to work forever and do things, but hopefully molding will be easier by that point. But yeah. He gets to sit around and be like, "Hey,
Damien has to." I will say, Damien has to do a lot of the molding because I tend to have resin accidents. We've learned over the last while that I'm very allergic to the uncured, like white resin.
Okay.
So anytime that I make them and accidentally touch anything, I end up with like huge breakouts all down my arms.
Oh wow!
It's really rough.
So even though I'm trying to push Damien out of this because as much as possible, he's very much involved and helps in every aspect.
Yes, he will help.
Except for painting.
He does not paint and he does not sand. All of the messy stuff. He deals with a lot of the time. He'll deal with the resin, actual resin.
Okay.
Pouring.
So he's helping. He's doing good stuff. It's not Christina's way.
Oh no. He also does any like the sticker designs and again, he's very good at he's self-taught on all of the graphic stuff, but that's totally his thing, not me.
Does he listen to you when you tell him to do something about Dahlia?
Well, yes, of course.
Okay.
Of
Okay.
course. That was very much a loaded question, though. Thank
It was, and I'm just trying to get him in trouble or something. I don't know. It's the one time I've been able to mess with him without him coming back at me. So, all right. Well, like I said, we've appreciated having you on.
In all honesty, we have a very good partnership when it comes to that kind of stuff. So a lot of the time, I get all of the credit for the customs, and this has happened like right from like the pop time. Like everybody knew about CC Customs, but it wasn't like if you enjoyed the entire packaging experience, like with the box and everything, like I couldn't have done most of it without him.
Okay.
So
good. So it's good to know he's there. He's helped. He's supporting. So okay.
For sure.
Well, we've really appreciated having you on. We've hit the hour. We are going to raid Andrew J. Noe. He's over playing some Fall Guys, so we're going to raid him. So, John, you got that set up for the Toy Rewind side?
We're good.
And I'm good here. We've really appreciated having you on. We, like I said, this is great for us because it's somebody from Geek Together. And, go follow Geek Together, follow Christina, follow Deathly Cute. Especially this weekend, there's going to be a drop. So, like, you get a couple days extra notice, maybe.
Yeah. There you go.
I will be watching. Can you tell us how many of those are going to be? 10. Okay, so you better be paying attention. So that's all I got to say.
Be quick.
You got to be quick. You better be paying attention. So, all right. Well, then, on behalf of the Brothers Newland, again, thank you for coming on, Christina, and talking customs and Dahlia. And for everybody else out there, stick around, do a Geek Together raid over at Andrew J. Noe as we do this. And hold on, I forgot it has to count down. It's like a 10-second countdown.
Right.
4, 3, 2, 1. On behalf of us, play on.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.